last week class um, was very much in the space of some were challenged by it. Some had certain levels of a layer being taken out of them, but they were not happy to release that layer yet. Now, what I have to say in this class, it is about consciously that we are finding that space of solitude. Now, regardless of whether you have a relationship with someone, you have a relationship with a parent, you have a relationship with a boss, you have a relationship with all those things, you have to just observe that you still can consciously come into that space of solitude by alone itself, because that has the most intentional part of synchronizing with that space of awareness. Now, why it is important is, we are all run by programs. We go to school, we get educated, but education, it's not itself, is the space of intuitiveness. So I got sent another text about where is the education place about this. Educational people constantly find that with a science-based answer, a logic-based answer, they make their assumptions. But when you're awakening yourself, you understand the polarity of the mind is there as a tool, and itself is not going to serve the purpose of awakening, because it plays ping pong. What is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, and it leaves all the validation to the outside. So people on the outside have to give you a piece of paper saying a study has been done, and then you're in peace, or you have another program system. So when you come to the solitude of your consciousness and you make that time to be there in all occasions, what happens is your all historical programming, ancestral programming, educational programming are not longer serving, but they just bark from the back because they see a shadow. So they bark at everything, and this barking gently starts residing. And no longer the old patterns, old system does not work for you. This is why I constantly emphasize on this awakening. It's a place that you come into a place that you are not triggered by certain things. So when you're not triggered by it, it does not mean that you don't have thoughts and emotions, but your thoughts and emotions comes from a place of that awakening, because you're not synchronizing with someone's old fears, someone's old patterns, someone's old scarcity. So look at it. When you share a dream about you want to become this, how many people will come and say it is not safe to do that? It is not right. And they will bring scientific explanation about how many people have failed doing that. Please don't listen to this, because you only got this life. And this life is not about having a success and winning everything. What you have failed, if it is does not no longer serve the purpose, at least you have found it for yourself, not because someone else said. So I'm just saying it. This is a great time. It is a new season coming. There is a celebration coming. Just release things that no longer serve, and just observe in that solitude that old patterns are coming back to you. And those old patterns they have a gravitational pull. So they pull you back into that safe place of safety of the validation, safety of that you are performing certain things because the world says it is right. A mother says it is right. Father says it is right. So where is all your creative next piece of harmony, next piece of things coming for you? Because you're playing for others. But where is yours? Saying that, take a deep breath in, shoulders roll back, opening up that chest and elevate that space of the heart. This field is much more larger than your mind and your ancestors and rights and wrongs and everything, but really genuinely come into that space, elevate that space, shoulders roll back. Now take a deep breath in, shut the shoulders up, tilt the head back, massage your skull, and just very gently release that C1 and C2 spine, that stagnations of things that constantly we are emotionally fighting with, triggered with, serving the same thing again and again and again and again. And just in this moment, breath out, relax, and release those patterns that have these tentacles over you. I wonder why you can't breathe. I wonder why you are not free. I wonder why your body is in taking a shape of a prison, not a space of artists where the fingers can move into all the chords and create music. Now stretch the neck to the right side. Back into the center. Stretch the neck into the left side. See whether there's any tension around the shoulders. And breathing in that space, in any moment, you can change that field of what you are constantly depleting from back into the center. Now move the camera towards Darren. Now take a deep breath in, shoulders roll back, arms raise onto the crown, placing the fingers, arms raising up, direct the spine, and gently stretch those, lock right into the back, but keeping the elongation of the neck, head, spine. Breath out, spread the wings and hold on to the knee and completely breathe out to a seated cat. Breathing in, shoulders roll back, arms raise onto the crown, placing the fingers. Now holding onto the left wrist and try to turn that left wrist up. Gently flex your left arm and stretch towards the right. Very gently opening up that armpit and breathing into that space of stagnation that things are no longer moving. Now back into the center. Breath out, spread the wings and hold on to the knees and completely breathe out with seated cat. Breathing in back into the center. Arms raised onto the ground. Interlacing the fingers. Hold on to the right wrist and open up that right wrist and release all the programming, all the tension. And you are consciously coming into this place that you want to be refreshed, something to be complete. The space of that, your own sovereignty, stretching towards the left. Just this time, you're not choosing by choice to be alone, but you're coming even in every occasion of the moment in that space. Breath out, coming back into the center, spread the wings wide, holding onto the knees, and completely breathe out to a cat. Coming into that most enchanting, evolved version of that space. How is that version if I'm living that version? What is my thought patterns? What is my body? What is my movement? Because of this present moment, breathing in, tongue roll up onto the upper palate, energy gaze onto the third eye to a seated cat. The present is the one that will create that future without the old program. So you're not seeking anything outside. You're not seeking that validation of a relationship, validation of this and that, that. Breathe out, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock into a seated cat. Now, this is the moment of that space. Breathing in. Most probably, ancestors have not lived on this space. So you are not programmed even to savor this space. But you be the first one to come into this space. Just not just survival modes, not just fear modes, just creating this state of consciousness into that space of solitude. Back into the center, elongate the spine. Twist the spine to the right side, stomach pulled in on the out breath. So you're bringing this space of consciousness into this present moment. There is no split in your brain that you're depleting your energy. Back into the center, change the leg formation. Take a deep breath in and the out breath, twist the spine onto the opposite direction. Open that space, coming into a new routine of consciousness, of solitude. You're not just passing time. You're not just coming into a Christmas. You're not just spending a year in your old loophole back into the center. Now take a deep breath in, shake those arms, release any tension and static. Now you're coming into the space of that meant to be with you, the space of that soul is craving, that sovereign space of that consciousness, and elevating that space throughout this class. So very gently, take a deep breath in, bring your feet onto the Sukhasana, and gently shoulders roll back, and bring the palms into the back and elevate the chest and open up, look up to the ceiling. When you're tilting the back, don't tighten it. Now open up, open up, open up the throat, the tongue, the chest. Breath out, spread the wings wider into the front and walk those palms into the front. And then walk those. So maybe for you, it's about dropping the elbows. Let your body, if you're recovering from something, let it, the highest level of healing happens in solitude. Your magnetic fields become more connected. It is not entangled with fear, scarcity, someone else's story, someone else this. So even your genes are expressing themselves when you're breaking out of these loopholes, old systems. Now, palms facing up, there is no sign in the body even holding on to the what happening with talking and explaining things. People become just the explaining part of, but if it is consciously not evolve you, you're still going on to another story. And you can see that by you telling the story, have you changed as a person? Or you talk differently? So you're now using this moment and you're pioneering a new way of to be. You're making every breath, every moment into that potential of being. So you have become, when I say become alone, is that you are not generating into thoughts, into spaces, into activities. So now there is an emotional strength in you not to get pulled into any addictions. Because your role play as a human person also given to you. So that is also addicted. I have to be this, I have to do this. So you have to constantly observe and track this. Take a deep breath in, very gently coming back. Bring that body back into the consciousness. Now you're coming into a space of consciously elevating. Now, the programming of your subconscious mind is different. It is independent. It is no longer running into a loop. Now take a deep breath in and bring that left foot into the back. Keep that right hip open. Shoulders relax, opening up that chest. So observe through the chakras whether there's any energy, movement, unusual sensations, sounds, vibration. This is saying that you're moving out of the state of the thought and the pattern. So your weight is lifted from that past that constantly you've been spending into all areas, whether it's spending with the same group of people, it's spending with the same trauma, talking about this person did this, that person did this person wasn't there, that person was there. All that is now released. Now take a deep breath in, drop the elbows, walk those palms. Now there is a joy in this space of this breathing in the moment. What is the joy? Because it's not running through the old system. So whatever the situation is, there is no external triggering happening as how it used to happen. Now you don't need the world, the object, the subject to be in this space, because this is a sacred time. You're with yourself. No one can really, unless they are observing these patterns, have a conscious relationship within yourself. Think about if you're running with these old patterns, you're exactly like the old partner that once was there and no longer served the purpose and gone. Take a deep breath in, very gently coming back, shoulders relax and just open. Lift up the space of the heart. Take a moment. Take a note to see where you can release those old patterns, clearing out those memories that no longer serve, that no longer you want to bring into your present moment. Because you're creating for whatever the celebration is coming, the seasonal celebration of this or that. But it's not a new gift that you're going to choose to bring to that table. You're going to create a space of new energy that representing your independence from all the past. That is the highest light you can put it on that Christmas tree, that table. Into a plank. Strong on the pelvic floor. So gently engage the core and sit in this space for a while, for a couple of more breaths. Engage that pelvic floor that your belly doesn't drop. Keep the rhythm of the breath in the space of strength. You're not crashing this pose. You're managing this pose. Left knee onto the floor. Now take a deep breath in, right arm reaching into the front, up to the ceiling, into the back. Touch the floor. Drop the knees and completely breathe out to a cat. Breathing in, tongue roll up onto the upper palate. Breathe into these centers. Breathe out. Observe. Breathing in, tongue roll up onto the energy gaze. Let this body become charging that electromagnetic energies. Have you ever come into the power source of yourself? Breathe out. Back into the center. Spread this uncontaminated energy to the digestion. Move the hips wider in that rotation. This body does not managing your boss's moods, boss's needs, this or that. I don't want to say it by name. Just see where it is gone. Not anyone else's rhythm. Wider rotation to the other side. Let this activity become your own creation, where your own neural pathways push the hips into the front. Stretch the spine into the back, palms facing up. Bring the attention to the space of the heart. I'll listen to your own space that you call you is beating. This is your gift that your consciousness is heightening, and your inheritance that you give is the evolution, the evolved version of yourself, not the comfort zone of what given to you. You're breaking free from those old traditional things. Palms facing down, crawling and bringing the chest into the front. Take a deep breath in, drop the belly, soften the hips. Soften the hips. Turn the hips side to side. Elbows onto the floor and breathing into a gentle cobra. Let your creations of whatever you're doing is be the next level of understanding, evolution. Let this frequency set the mode for this season. Not the mode that we see on the traffic, we see in families, unresolved emotions. overlooking to the right side. Take a deep breath in, back into the center, onto the left side. Back into the center. Let your third eye relax on your hands. Take a moment, roll the third eye, and release any emotional patterns that is not yours out of absolutely love. If there are thought patterns you're constantly inherited by your programming from your old self and being installed to you, whether it's a space of the inner child, whether it's a space of your parents, whether it's a space of your community, society. It is very moment just observe they are no longer yours, and recognizing it, you can totally awaken yourself. You're one of those people choosing to evolve beyond those emotional prisons. Bring your palms where your elbows are, breathing into an up face. Breathe out towards the down. Great, great. When your knees come into a place of your down face, you can keep the feet pointing at each other to open up those parts of the hips and releasing. Remember, consciousness, the body, they don't actually develop strength into a place of comfort. They like challenge. Being alone in this practice is a challenge because others are sitting with others and just talking about same patterns, programming, loops. Now lift up onto the toes, push down to the heels, breathe out. Now take a deep breath in and bring that left foot into the front, into the pigeon pose. If you can't come in one go, take a time. Shoulders roll back, opening up the chest. Take a deep breath in, elevate the space of the heart. Breath out, drop the elbows, walk those palms. Now your awareness is uniting, so it is giving this ability to observe. Observe what? Observe your own thoughts about the others. Observe about your own scarcity. Observe about your own fears. Observe about your own past. When you have the ability to observe, let this become your present normal. Now you're creating this state of heightened without the stimulation of other. The way you, whatever you talk about the other, whatever, you're depleting your energy. Have you asked lately why you're struggling? Now, if you let go of those thoughts, you're also changing in the space of the body. On your own. You're strengthening these spaces. You have become a new person because now you have been mastering to consciously be alone for this period. So your brain is now in the space of creativity. Now everything is self-directed. Take a deep breath in, walk those palms back, shoulders relax and chest open. Take a deep breath in into a space of plank, strong on the pelvic floor, gentle transition. Now take a moment. At this very moment, are you carrying that old ancestral patterns of dependency and you're lesser focused on where you want to take your mind and the body? Every time you talk about the past, you're giving instructions to your body, mind, is the same thing of the old pattern. It doesn't know any difference, your body. Now, right knee onto the floor, left arm reaching up to the ceiling, into the back, touch the floor, drop the knee completely, breathe out to a cat. Breathing in, tongue roll up onto the upper palate, energy gaze onto the space of that samadhi, creating a new state of being. Now the energy's focus on the intention becomes very important. You can plant any seed in this space, it will grow. Relax. I'll give a good rotation into the hips, wider rotation. And release patterns of that other was not there, other has to be there. Now you're consciously coming into reprogramming the space in this consciousness of creative solitude. Wider rotation to the other side. Take a deep breath, push the hips into the front and push into the back, knees wide apart, palms facing. Now, what happened is the cells are mimicking. Your consciousness is elevating the body into a place of the part of epigenetics. So beyond these areas of rather than primitive survival methods that program to you, now you're coming into the awareness of heightened space. Now let that heightened space hack the biology. You're breaking that patterns of someone else. That epigenetic. No longer you are tied into survival only, fear only. No longer you are managing jealousy. You're not managing anyone's emotions. You actually allow things to move differently. Because you're ready for the evolution. Now you're making lifestyle changes. Now you have different evolvement in your choices. Nothing is diminished by you taking this time to yourself. On the contrary, it is amplifying how much you are. Every moment in your space of that silence, you're giving a frequency, not only to your common little group of people, but into the whole galaxy, where everything comes creating. Great music pieces, artwork, great architectural changes, electricity, everything that has been found in this undiluted space where someone went in that space of creation. Because you're not operating from your old emotion patterns. You're no longer creating. Palms facing down, crawling and bringing the chest into the front. Take a deep breath in, drop the belly, soften the hips, coming into up face. Shoulders relax. Open up the space. Energy gaze onto the magnetic field of your heart. Down face. Left leg up into the back. Left knee to the left chest, breathe out. Breathing in, stretch back. Left knee onto the left elbow. Stretch back. Left knee onto the right elbow. Stretch back. Left foot into the front. Arms stretch into the back. Arms raise onto the crown. Arms onto the namaskar. Take a moment. Your heart frequency can be felt miles away when the energy is not going outside. Opening up onto the Virabhadrasana. Take a mudra. Let that third eye to elevate into a state of its own DMT. Your body is an electromagnetic field. So you have to be in this space of conscious solitude. Otherwise, you are attracting the ancestral scarcity behaviors. You're creating the universe to give the same thing because you have not elevated yourself. Gentle arch. Keep that knee slightly bent back into the center. Elbow onto the knee, right arm stretching up now very gently. Bend the knee, sit deeper, right reaching into the front. Touch the floor. Now take a deep breath in, left arm reaching up to the ceiling. Either you can hold it on the sacrum or you can keep it up. If it is too tiring, you can hold on to the elbow pointing up. Maintain your field is very important constantly. Now don't go and entangle with the difficulty. Entangle with this, that. Left reaching into the back touch. Drop the back knee onto the floor, holding onto the front knee. Push the hips into the front and into the back for a while, releasing any tension. Arms raised onto the crown, spread the wings wider, Garudasana, right arm on the top. Just bring that complete frequency, coherent with the state. Just center yourself. Even your past thoughts are outside. Become aware of it. You're not matching someone else's things here. You're energetically quite efficient in this mudra. Take a deep breath in, push the elbows out, spread the wings wider, touch the floor. Into a stronger plank. Then if you can, drop the knees or you come into the Chaturanga Dandasana. Breathing in up face. Shoulders roll back, great. Breathe out, down face. Right leg up into the back, right knee to the right chest. Breathe out. Breath in, stretch back, right into the right elbow. Stretch back, right knee to the left elbow. Stretch back, right foot into the front. Arms switch into the back. Arms raised onto the crown. Interlacing the fingers, palms facing up. Bend the knees deeper. Palms onto the Namaskar position. Now observe. If you're gone onto the thoughts and the emotions of this and that, it's almost you have not got the frequency correct in your radio, so it's static. So most conservation energy in the world is your solitude. Nothing to do with this or that or producing, not producing this or that. Take a deep breath in when you come into this realization. Come onto the Virabhadrasana. Now take a mudra that perfectly with your intention, no energy leak, no nothing to match to someone else. And you bring a resolve into your practice. Something that is going to elevate this energy. And that intention can generate it into any level of manifestation. I'm not a huge fan of manifestation because people then come to spirituality just to manifest things. But I'm just giving you a part of that creative force to align with your intention. Because there's no blocks in you now. So whatever you want to create, you can create any moment. Or the creation that happening next time will be supporting that creation. Elbow onto the knee. And bring that left arm into the sacrum to keep the elbow up. And when you're ready, move the energy up. So release any intertwined energies that someone told this cannot happen, this, that. Left reaching into the front and touch the floor. Right arm reaching up to the ceiling. Right arm reaching into the back, touch the floor. Drop the back knee, hold on to the front knee. Push the hips into the front and into the back. You're consciously present. You have become the sole observer of this space. Nothing is diluting this space. Coming to that solitude, you're completely within that space. Then arms stretching to the ground. Spread the wings. Garudasana left arm to the top. Gently touch the mystic, the third eye. Let it operate at the optimal frequency. You're not processing someone else. You're not saying someone else is troubling you, someone else doing this. You're processing no one. You're not processing to build up someone else's dreams. Your intention, no more entanglement, blocking, coming into that space. Bring that resolve. Spread the wings wide. Collect. Strong on the pelvic. Drop the knees. Give a good rotation to the hips. While the rotation to the other side. Become your own source of that joy, that achievement, that realization. Now, there is an ability in that creating your own reality. So the realities were created to you if they were difficult, that was also created by you. But if they are no longer serving and they are all dead ends, stretch the spine into the back, palms facing up. Let it become. Now create the space that you want to be. Now this is actually self-love in depth. This has the same power as it would have the same energy that once you were with a great person of love, whatever the reasons are, not just a physical love, maybe a love as a mentor, love as a teacher, love as a partner, whatever it is. Now, in this solitude, you connect with yourself to strengthen your own sovereignty. If you're in a relationship that constantly challenges you to grow into this place, then you have a bonus there. Observing. The neurons doesn't know that external love that generate within yourself. Now in this level, you need no very much outside stimulation, because all your cells are tuning to your own level of your own intention, your own podcast, your own broadcast. Child pose. Now very gently roll onto the crown and activate the pineal and the pituitary gland into the third eye, fist on the third eye. Let that there's a stimulation of the nitric oxide. It's very gently create the alignment of the vagus. It can reduce inflammation. Your immune system can come into a great place. Now you're using these energy fields to self-heal, self-connection. Now you're constantly in the space of awakening emotions. Within. You're not seeking it from outside. Very gently wake up the spine one vertebra at a time. The space of the brain, the heart, the digestion. Let it digest. Now stretch the legs into the front. Release any static. Bend the knees slightly and feet mat width apart. Pull the buttocks out. Get that seating bone sitting into the space. Center yourself. Arms rest onto the crown. Very gently rolling from the hips. Start rolling from the hips. Don't activate the arms to touch the toes. Take breath in, breath out, roll. Roll. Bring your energy fields into the feet and to the hands. Don't ever confuse this education with this intelligence. A lot of people have master degrees, but they can still behave idiotically. Take a deep breath in. Look up. Great posture. Let the spine sink in the thoracic area. Look up, but let the middle spine sink. That's that. Take a deep breath in. Flex the foot. Arms stretch into the front. Shoulders roll back. Palms onto the floor. Feet together, lifting up the pelvis. Very gently coming back there. Arms onto the floor in the back. Feet together. Lift up. Drop very gently, knees to the chest, completely breathe out. Breathing in, arms raised onto the crown. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Cross the legs very gently and coming into that space. So you have this yourself. Now, reclaim. Take a deep breath and breath out to remind you your wholeness, your completion, owning its own space of self-discovery that you find purpose and passion. Your cure is not outside. You're not going to find you in the outside. It's not the noise of the outside. Just observe now. It's easy to observe. It's quiet moment. Even the thoughts that you think that who you are, become aware of it. So the finding is in not in a thought and emotion anymore. Now the soul, it is found in the act of embracing this solitude as a time for healing, time for reflection, time for self-love. Palms raised onto the ground when you come into this realization. Palms onto the Namaskar mudra. Namaste into the space of that self-discovery within ourselves. Namaste. So you see, we when we do a class about solitude, silence, self-discovery, we do get a lot of messages in the space of the person who is discovering, staying in the place of the world is outside, happiness is outside, and your thoughts and emotions can be constantly for them to true because it comes from the space of that ancestral patterns. The biggest conditioning that you're going to work on is the conditioning of what you thought about yourself, what you have been educated about yourself, what you. So we can't do that to ourselves because these are programs are not set to run for a period of life. You become a slavery to a system by having these things. But where have you lost your creativity to be something that you love most, something what you really would love to do? I'm not saying that do not take it as, I'm not saying that it has to have the respect of you're going to manage everything. So managing the transactions with the finance, transactions with the health, wealth, all these things are, but they are not who you are. So there has to be a space. All these elements can interwoven to your creativity where you want to take it. But don't get caught up in that only, because that is totally built on the space of scarcity. That Whatever the money you have is not going to be enough. The world is coming into this realization now. We all have been programmed to a certain extent of this or that or this. So when you have time in solitude, you come into this space that this programming does not work for me, it doesn't elevate me. And you're constantly giving energy into something that no longer serving you. Whether it's the past, whether it's a past relationship, whether it's a past that you have to behave in certain ways in front of other people for the validation. But this has to very gently, in a loving way, have to stop. That's why I say you are the realization and the gifted version of the Christmas, not the material version of it. Great colors and great ornaments and all that is very important. But if you can't light within yourself, there is no pointing of lighting up a tree for just for that period, and then you go back into the same place you were. So take these classes not to react so much in writing and all that, but to respond yourself in a way of, okay, when I'm pointing at the finger at the moon, don't look at my fingers, look at the moon, because that's where I'm pointing at. No offense taken, because I don't react to those things absolutely with love. And this only shows me where you're struggling at. And please do share the classes with people you think that is relevant. All these classes can totally backfire on you if you give it to someone who has not had the practice for a long time. They'll react. No, I really love the outside world. I really love this. I love this life. I love relationships, but relationships are great when you know how to be in silence within yourself. So you're not managing others' emotions and all that and spending time. And even for the fact that if I do this, will it upset him or her or that or this? So there is no a liberation in that. And you have to come into this place that you have some time for within yourself, that even to monitor your reactions to the other. So saying that this is not saying that not to have relationships. It is nothing about that. It is saying that have it, but be cautious about, because relationship with yourself, if you don't have it, relationship with the others is only going to trigger the parts that you are no longer settled within yourself. Saying that again, lots of love for Rebecca Diaz and your beautiful son and your pets. Big hugs to Matt, big hugs to Sylvia. Liana, great of your achievements. I see it always. The great healer of music, Maria and Liz. And Sage, love to you all. And the others who are going to join this class.